Mike Stadler,
Carl Bethke.
the Obsession Podcast coming back at you. What's going on, Carl?
Yeah. It's pretty good, Mike. How are things going over there?
Not bad, not
good.
bad. So, got a question here. Mm-hmm. This is something we've gone through a ton of times with people. So, basically the moment of truth. We always call it that 5 seconds when things really count.
5 seconds of fame.
The one chance you might get might come down to 5 seconds.
It's true.
And the mistakes that are made in that time. Basically, what are the mistakes? Which we can go through many of those.
Yep.
And then how to get over them and how to correct them.
Alrighty then. Well, I can honestly say I had this happen to me this year. And a severe case of it too, down in South Dakota on mule deer. It's like I forgot how to do anything, dude. I mean, really? I mean, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah,
I remember.
It was a frickin' nightmare. Biggest mistakes. You don't take the time to do what you know how to do and run through your, what I call a program. I wasn't ranging. I wasn't doing anything correctly in my draw cycle, my aiming cycle. I mean, I have a 6-second shot sequence. Whether we're shooting 3D targets, spots, practicing, and hunting. It's the same every time. And for some reason, I absolutely lost it in South Dakota this year that's the second time in my life that I've had that happen. First time was when we were in North Dakota. Same thing, mule deer, that's how much it means to me, where I just...
Remember.
And then this past year in South Dakota. And basically, what it is you don't step through your steps to make the proper shot. And we're always shooting yardage out there, so it's emphasized by 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I guess the number one thing is to make it repetitive enough to not have this happen. And how do you do that? Practice.
Practice makes better.
Practice does make better. Proper English, practice makes better.
And practice don't make perfect.
No.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's... I've done it 1 million times, still do it.
Mm-hmm.
This year I blame myself on my buck. Slam dunk.
Yeah.
And, forget one key aspect as you're letting that arrow go and it turns into a week-long recovery of a deer.
True. Yeah.
That's wasted. And I think a lot of it is, I know it is with you and me, is you want that animal so bad.
Yeah.
That sometimes you're a spaz.
True.
And you forget everything that's going to help you put it on the ground. Contrary to popular belief, they don't want to die.
No, and they'll do everything not to.
And they, people that say they're not smart or whatever, and if you get that one chance, you got to make sure everything's right. And the biggest thing, we've always told people, and then when we don't do it, you really feel dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Practice what you preach is the ranging thing.
Right.
And especially out west, we know, because we've cost ourselves so many opportunities out there. Like, well, that's only this far.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
It's always further than that.
Exactly.
Because it's just so hard to judge out there. And like you said, your cycles of, shooting and, and I think it starts too, like, we even started with this, where I changed my draw cycle up, where I was drawing low to high.
Yeah.
And it's, low to high is not the way to draw your bow.
No, you're going to shoot low.
And it is a fact.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll have people that will chime in on that, which is awesome, gives us another topic later. But,
right.
low to high, and it's proven.
Yeah.
Carl told me this, pointed this out, we're shooting league, and league does mean something. Not that we care about the league and winning it.
No.
We're practicing with what we hunt with.
Yep.
Trying to be better in the field. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
If we win it, great. We don't, it's probably because we got cheated on it.
Probably.
So consistently I'd hit low.
Yeah.
Left and right, perfect.
Yeah.
Always low, always low. I was like, you need to draw from high to low. Settle in, because if you think about the muscles in your shoulder, which you'd think I would know about.
Yeah, you do.
But
the archery aspect of it is a little different too, yeah.
You know, coming from a high to low position, very little strain on the muscles of the shoulder, because you're dropping it in.
Yep, 100%.
Pulling it up,
you're engaging.
You're engaging every muscle to pull it up, and then try to hold it for a shot. And it just makes sense.
Yep.
You know, and I told this to, you know, a friend of ours. He was having problems, and I said, look at it this way. I said, when you're in a tree stand, are you drawing from the ground up?
No.
Well, no. Exactly. I said, so why are you shooting on the ground from the ground up? You're always up high in a tree stand, and then you're angling down on your animal.
Yep, 100%.
At some point, even if it's a further shot, you're still coming down.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And I said, well, it's just kind of a thing to think about, maybe.
Yeah. A square frame. So what I mean by a square frame is if you look at an archer from the front, basically his draw arm, so his forearm here, this forearm, and his bow arm, that forearm should be absolutely, if you made two lines, because it's going to be a little higher in the arrow, parallel with the arrow level. And the only time you actually bend anywhere should be at your waist. Everything should be square. And that's probably the biggest part of it. Always draw above your target, and I don't care if it's 2 inches, 4 inches, 5 feet. They do not want you to really sky draw, but, you know, draw it up above and then square down into the target, and you're not engaging that muscle. It'll make you that much more, I guess, sound or controlled. You get that slower float, like we always talk about when we're talking about aiming the bow. Learned that a long time ago from a couple professional archers that taught me how to shoot. You know, the other part of that is put yourself under stress to learn how to handle the stress of that particular short period of time. If you can practice under stress, like we'll compete against each other. That's how we are. You know, together, if you find somebody that you could compete against with you or better than you or as good as you, or you challenge each other, like let's just say some people shoot for a beer or something like that. Mike and I shoot for bragging rights for the week. Very last shot of the course. We really don't care what we shot for, but I win the week or he wins the week, and guess what? He's the champ for the week or I'm the champ for the week, and you want it that much more when that shot comes again the next week. So, you know, challenge yourself that way. Put a little pressure on yourself where your mind actually has to work. It's real important to make yourself better. We've both shot different things in professional atmospheres where there's lots of people watching. You know, Mike was a professional dart thrower for years, shot worlds, nationals, won all these tournaments throwing darts where there's TV cameras and everybody's watching you. And I've shot archery under high pressure situations, you know, when you get the top 5 guys shooting for money, shoot offs, things like that. You know, when you got hundreds of people watching you, it's your mind that messes with you, not your skill. Because if you're good and you can separate yourself from what you think is happening around you, you are going to make a better shot.
And it's 100% with what Carl said. Your mind will let you down every time.
Yeah,
it is not anything else. It's always mental.
Yeah, always mental.
I mean, unless you have a physical injury,
right? But
mentally is where we break down. You know, and the things you're talking about with that is ways to try to overcome it. You know, another thing too that I think I learned from you is, and I tell people this all the time. I said, you should be shooting your bow enough, in my opinion, that you should be able to close your eyes, draw that bow, and open your eye, and at that scope and that peep sight, and everything should be square.
Yep.
Without looking at it.
Yep.
Every time. And I'm telling you, if you do it, it's just natural in a tree or in the field.
Yeah.
You know, on a spot and stalk, whatever, and it does make a difference.
Oh yeah, 100%. Where when you draw that bow back, especially when we're spot and stalking out west.
Yep.
If you draw that bow back, if I go like this, pull that bow back, and it's dead, my peep's in there, my frame is inside, I'm looking right down that frame. Number one, my mind's immediately at ease. Because now I'm not thinking, okay, I got to square everything up,
you're
and I got
not
to change
juggling,
this,
trying
change
to get
that.
things right.
Right, because then you screw it up anyway. Because if you just do, if we're making an 80, 70, 80 yard shot, and you're out of square anywhere in your peep, in your frame, you're going to miss. Because you're talking a foot down range.
Yeah.
So it's very important to be able to do that. Repetitive, like, Mike talks about. I'll do it in my basement where I'll go down, and I do it weekly where I'll just cycle my bow with my eyes closed, square up, and then look through the peep. And sooner or later, you get so used to squaring up that you're dang near perfect every time. You'll pick that out. Some people use different pieces of equipment on their strings. Mike and I really aren't firm believers in that. Kisser buttons and nose buttons nowadays, a lot of people use that stuff. It helps you. I'm not going to say it'll make you perfect, because it does not make you perfect in your frame. Even if you put that stuff on your string, sometimes when you draw the bow back, if you actually look through it, your frame's left, right, up, down, so you're changing all of that. Something to just continually practice throughout the year. And then, for us also, for out west, I think is practicing in longer yardages. When you practice at longer yardages and push yourself at those, you actually see your form flaws more.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And that's it, yeah, and that's real important when it comes to the longer out west shooting. And how to make yourself better doing that is, like I said, make the front part of your stuff correct. So looking through the peep and framing with your scope, and then being able to hold that frame and be able to shoot them longer distances under pressure circumstances. So I think that's important.
Yeah, it's, like I tell people all the time, most people know us anyway a lot with that stuff, but once it gets nice out,
Yeah.
like after a little bit, I don't shoot under 50 yards anymore.
No, in summer, I never shoot
I
under
just
50.
don't, because I can make those shots.
Yeah.
I know I can make them all the time. So I want to shoot 50 out, because we're out west, now a couple times a year.
Yep.
So looking at, antelope, couple mule deer tags a year, you're probably not going to have a 30-yard shot. I mean,
No.
gotta be great.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. So, that makes you better, because you can't, like you said, screw up at all. Nothing can be off. Everything has to be squared. Everything has to be the same every time.
Yeah.
And when you get up to make a 20 or 30-yard shot, it's just easy.
Yeah, repetition's the most important part of everything. So like we talked many times, practice makes better.
Practice makes better.
So practice, that's the big thing too. Oh, if you're changing equipment too, it's important to have faith in your equipment. You'll see Mike and I haven't changed bows now in 3-4 years.
I've been shooting mine since 18.
Yeah. So Mike's been shooting.
5
Yeah.
years.
Mike switched back to PSE before I did, because I still had a year or two on a contract with a bow company, which was still a good bow company.
Mm-hmm.
But the PSEs are something that we believe in, and I don't think we're ever going to change again. We're shooting their carbon risered Mach 1s. They're great bows. But having faith in your equipment where you don't have to think about anything else is also that mental game part of things. Don't be the guy who practices at 20, 30, 40, and maybe 50, and then it's taking 50, 60, and 70-yard shots.
Right.
Usually
doesn't work out
no. Well, effective range is what I call it.
And that's just part of that too. I think the moment of truth, because it's picking up the wind outside somehow. It's resonating through.
Oh, that is what it's doing.
Yeah.
Turn the mic down just
Yeah.
turn this one down a little bit.
So, the other thing too is, I tell people all the time, you're looking at antlers. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a deer I'm going to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to say, but I know that I do it. I don't look again. Now I'm looking, okay, where's my shot going to be? Rangefinder's in my hand.
Yeah.
Because I blew the biggest deer of my life by not ranging one, whitetail wise.
Yep.
And I tell guys a million times, and I know you'll say the same thing, if you can't get a range, you don't know it, don't shoot.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you can't there's another thing. You can't make it happen.
No, no.
You know, it's.
I guess the thing about it is you put yourself in the situation, and either it's going to happen or it's not.
Right.
You have to know your own capabilities. Like you said, you can't make it happen.
You can't force shots.
You can't. Yeah, don't.
We see people all the time
Well,
that force shots.
This is a prime example. This year you had one of the biggest deer on my property.
Yeah.
Early. I mean, it was early October, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was early. First time in that.
And he was within 30 yards of you for an hour.
For an hour.
And you never shot him.
No.
Because, number one, well, you know, it was the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, and he, you know, Mike knew, he could probably try and force one through there, but what if all of a sudden it deflects on a limb or a tree, twig or something, and it kicks back?
Yeah.
You know,
or the worst thing is a wounded animal.
Right.
You know,
and that's the big part.
And not that it's any different, a wounded buck or a wounded doe, but you're definitely not wanting to wound a giant buck that you're trying to hunt on your property.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And you know, I know for a fact this year I went to full draw 4 times on your property and never fired an arrow.
Yep.
I shot one doe one night.
Yep.
But never shot at 4 different bucks. And I had that other one at what? 5 yards?
Yeah.
Literally?
Yeah.
But no shot.
No shot.
Literally making a rub and a scrape on the tree I'm in. You know, and I was at full draw on it, but I did not have the shot.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you see people try to force that crap through there, and, you know, it can happen.
It can.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
But, you know, 90% of the time, that's just not going to work. And,
yeah.
You know, sometimes you got to let that stuff go, and it's hard to let your bow down and, you know, think that's your opportunity, and
you'll get another opportunity. Respect for the game is important.
Yeah. Your opportunities are what you make.
Yeah.
For yourself.
Yep.
So it's.
And that's different than trying to make it happen when we say that, just so you're aware. You know, but you know, I guess the big thing back to the main question of it is, you know, you have to put yourself under pressure to perform under pressure. And if you can't do that, you need to find a way.
Yep.
I don't care who you are or what you do, you have to find a way to challenge yourself. It should be that way in life anyway.
Yeah.
You know, get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Don't. If you're shooting archery, shoot out of your comfort zone.
Success is outside of your comfort zone.
100%. 100%.
It is.
If you're comfortable doing it, then you don't need to practice that anymore. You need to make yourself better and practice something harder.
Yeah. You know, and I'll say this. You know, when I first met you, I bow hunted.
Yep.
You know, real green into it. Had done it for a few years.
You would shot deer.
But green as hell. And, you know, I didn't think I was a very good shot, and I went with you. We shot all the time, and I got my ass kicked everywhere we went, you know. But I'm that guy, like, I can't handle it.
You're getting better.
Yeah, like, I can't handle it. Like, I gotta be better.
Yeah.
So, push yourself to be better.
100%.
And be better, and be better, and be better, you know. And
surround yourself with people who are better.
Yep.
Or people you can learn from. Educate yourself as much as you can on whatever you think you want to do.
Yeah.
Deer hunting bow hunting is a thing over 30 plus years. I'll say this. Bow hunting is a thing that you will find people are very opinionated on, probably including ourselves.
Right.
But this is what works for us. This is what we share with you guys. Hopefully, you'll take some of it and be able to convert it into maybe making you better.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You got to push yourself. You know, goals aren't negotiable. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna use that as one of my taglines.
Tagline.
That and you know, I say it all the time. Control what you can control. So ranging, practice.
Yep.
Physical health.
Physical conditioning.
You know, conditioning. As obviously it all plays in. Even if a whitetail hunter, you know, you get cranked up. You just stand. You know, and that now it comes into your breathing. You know, you're getting cranked up during the time when the deer is coming. You got to make a shot, and you can't calm yourself down. Probably gonna make a poor shot.
Probably.
Or a miss, because I've done it.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I've learned now how to make that, and then I get cranked up.
Oh yeah. It's after I shoot now
Yeah.
when I shake.
Then I gotta sit down.
Yeah.
But I'm calm during the whole process.
Yeah.
You know, and the arrow goes off. I see where the arrow hits.
Yeah.
Another thing I was taught:
Yep.
pay attention, and you'll most likely make a better shot.
100%.
You know, a lot of people I can't stand the bow tipping
Oh,
out of your hand when
bow
these
forward.
guys make a shot and the
Yeah.
bow tips forward out of your hand.
That's not perfect form.
If you do that, congratulations. I don't think you're a good shot.
Yeah.
I'll say it right now
Yeah.
because a good bow shot to me is like shooting a gun, throwing a dart like
Yep.
when I used to do it. There has to be a follow through, and a
100%.
follow through on a bow shot is, you know, the release back off
Yep.
and holding that arm out, because you can drop as you're letting release and it will affect your arrow.
Oh, yeah.
Or pull it side to side if you're going to peek. Same thing on a gun.
Yeah. Well, it's even when we're shooting league and all of a sudden we shoot low.
Yep.
My shot will break. I'll be holding. So I get what I call a dip boom, where if I hold too long on something, I get one of these,
Yeah.
and it'll go dip boom, and the shot breaks because we're always on the edge with our release. And the shot breaks, I'll just turn right to Mike. I'm like, yeah, drop my arm.
Yeah.
Or he'll say it before I even turn around. He's like, yeah, drop your arm, because we always watch each other. The other thing too is if you get somebody who will critique you, your friends are friends. And if they're really your friend and you're doing something like this, they'll tell you, hey, dude, you dropped your arm.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're hard on the backside, or you're doing this, or you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because all that's going to do, don't take it as criticism, take it as constructive criticism. Make yourself better so you don't do that.
Yeah, you know, that's why we hunt together, too. You know,
Yeah.
we see all that stuff.
Hey, we learned a lot this year, dude.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of what not to do in certain times. Because you're a little more, when it comes to mule deer hunt, it's easier if you're the guy that's not shooting. Because, you know, I can listen to him. If he says something to me, that makes sense. I'll do it. This past year, I was in such a hurry. I was so mind straight on trying to shoot a mule deer that I didn't do the stuff I was supposed to do. And Mike's like, dude, just slow down. You gotta slow down. I was in such a hurry. The very first day, we had 2 giants. And I think that messed my head up bad when I shot over top of that deer. And should have just waited then, too. But that's just one of the things that I remember learning distinctly, which was my fault, which I'm sorry for, and it won't happen this next year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's the same thing you say critiquing. Like, you know, we got down out there, and I told Carl right out because I was mad. So I told him, like, look, this is the way it has to be. It has to be this way or it can't be at all.
Yep.
Like, we do this together. That means we're doing it together.
Yep.
Listen to the other guy, work with the other guy. There's always going to be times, you know, if you guys do go out and spot and stalk together, there's going to be times where a guy, the shooter, has to take, you know, a different position and the other guy's got to stay back.
Yep.
You know, and then, but use that guy. That's why we do it.
Yep.
You know, especially if you got somebody you can trust. You know,
Yeah.
we've sat in, you know, in the whitetail woods together for how long? You know,
20 plus years.
and we don't sit in the same tree anymore. We all film ourselves now, and very rare. I don't even remember the last time that we've actually filmed a whitetail hunt that way. But
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll sit. This year was fortunate; we were fairly close
Yeah,
to
we're
each
close.
other when I shot Freak Show.
yeah, and it's trust. You
Yeah.
know, it's trust and all that stuff. And you know, if you're gonna get mad when somebody tells you you're doing something wrong, then you better think about yourself.
Yeah, yeah, you got a problem right there.
Because that's going to be your problem. And if you're going to mind block yourself, you know, you're not going to ever get any better. And it's like anybody that's hunted with us, they take it one of 2 ways.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 ways that they've ever taken it. One, they can't handle it.
Yep.
Because they think we're too hard on them. We push too hard, being assholes.
We're type
basically.
A personalities.
You know, and there's the people that listen and do everything we can because we want you to be successful. Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to go with you. We're not going to waste our time or our efforts for you not to be successful, you know, is the biggest thing.
And we always help the people that are with us. We're gonna take you out because we want you to be successful. You have to understand that part of it. But we're not gonna do it for you. I can't make the shot for you. 100%.
I can't make it for myself sometimes.
Well, me either, obviously. You know, but there's a lot to that. You know. But the criticism part of things, you have to be able to understand that. You have to be willing to learn. Never think that you know it all. Because we get a lot of, well, I know this and I know that. Well, that's great. That's good information. We appreciate your guys' comments. Never think that we're talking down to you. We're not doing that either. But this is what we've learned. You guys teach us also when we get your comments.
Yep.
There's plenty of things that we've gotten from you guys that we appreciate too.
Well, it's like you said, we put out there what's worked for us.
Yep.
That's why we put it out there, because it's worked for us. We don't put it out there as, hey, watch this. This don't work. Let's tell them to do that. We're not doing that.
No.
Who the hell's going to watch us if we're trying to help you?
We want you guys to be as successful as we are every year, and we'll show you some of the pictures of the people that have been watching the show for quite a few years and putting comments forth, people who are our friends now that we talk and communicate with, and we want to communicate with all of you, and we want your opinions on things also.
Yep.
Whether it be the show or what you do or however you guys learn to maybe make your shot sequence or something.
Yeah.
Things like that, but that 5 seconds of fame comes down to your own ability to control your mind, your body, and do what's right to make the shot and make it count. I think.
Yeah, it is, and it's all preparation. It all comes with experience. It really does. There's some people that just can do it.
Yeah, there are naturals out there.
Flat out do it, and I'll tell you this too. If you have a lot of success, there's going to be a point where
you're not.
Something's going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And you got to start all over, and then you're like, now what do you do?
Yep.
So,
having success is great. Being able to recover from failure is even better.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is. At one point in your life, you're always going to fail, and that's how you learn. Failure teaches you more than success does. To be honest with you, that's when you learn. So. Is that pretty much covered?
Yeah, but we can keep them.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty good.
We appreciate you guys listening. If you get a chance, you want to just listen to the podcast, check us out on Spotify, Google,
Apple Podcasts,
iHeart,
Amazon,
also at rss.com.
and
check our pretty faces out right here.
YouTube, baby.
Yeah, buddy. If you want to check us out on Instagram, go to Rush Outdoors WI or The Obsession Podcast Hunting. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.